Maserati, yeah, they're not quite dead yet. They have just released their first electric car. Here are the details, and I'm going to compare it just a little bit to a Tesla Model 3, as pretty much all of you know what they are and how big they are, to give you an idea of what this car is all about. Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. My name's Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And we have done more than 2,000 videos of the past 18 months, all on pretty much the electric car industry and renewable energy. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out some of our other videos. Maserati. Yeah, I mean, I think we all see them as a bit of a dead brand. They are Fiat Chrysler. They use Fiat Chrysler spare parts in their interiors. They charge lots of money for their cars. They do have some pretty cool engines coming from Ferrari. Most of them do come from Ferrari, which are pretty impressive. Sound great. So without one of those special engines in them, what advantage does a Maserati have versus the competition? Well, I'm not sure that there is a lot. But first, let's have a look at their first EV. It does have quite a lot of power and 3 motors. It could actually be very, very fast. The Maserati GranTurismo is back after a short hiatus. That means they've cancelled the gasoline-powered version, or basically they'll sell it until no one wants it anymore, and that's probably going to be pretty soon. But don't let its familiar shape fool you. It looks like the old one, an intentional decision on the company's part. I've got to admit, it is a good-looking car. I think it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But there's some pretty big changes underneath this elegant design. The new GT arrives with 3 electric motors and a big battery pack, becoming the brand's first EV. The new Gran Turismo shares a design with the previous generation model because it costs more money to design a new one. Why not just stick with what works, right? I actually kind of agree with that because it does look good. The only problem I have with this strategy is if you come along and spend $200,000 on a brand new car, you would expect it not to look like an 8-year-old model. That's what I would usually think. Anyhow, the new GT has the long hood, compact cabin, and a low ride height, sporting vertical oriented headlights, which look a lot like those on the MC20 supercar. One of the car's standout styling features is the Cofango, a new unified design part that combines the hood and the front fender into a single element. It moves the cut line from the top of the hood to the side of the vehicle, cutting into the wheel wells. The Gran Turismo will launch with 6 available exterior colors and 7 for the brake calipers, with Maserati's Furo Series customization program offering even more options. So, I mean, that's one of the special things that you can get with this car, right? 6 different caliper colors. The new Gran Turismo uses the new Tuno V6 engine that you want to make it introduced with the MC20. Probably getting confused now, right? Thought this was an EV. So did I. All drive is standard across the range, and it has a rear-wheel drive bias. The twin turbocharged 3-litre engine features a wet sump in the coupe rather than a dry one, and it's equipped with cylinder deactivation. The engine makes 489 horsepower or 365 kilowatt and 442 pound-feet of torque, which is 600 newton meters. In the Medina, it produces 550 horsepower, 410 kilowatt and 479 pound-feet and 650 newton meters of torque in the Trofeo version. Now, there is an EV version. The Folgore uses 300 kilowatt, 402 horsepower electric motors, 1 at the front, 2 at the rear. The car features an 800 volt architecture and lacks a front trunk. Why? Because this is an internal combustion engine vehicle that's been converted into an EV. We all know how that goes, right? They're always significantly heavier. However, it delivers 750 horsepower, which is 560 kilowatt, and 995 pound-feet of torque, which is 1,350 newton meters. That's a lot of torque. It gets power from a 92.5 kilowatt hour T-bone shaped battery in the center of the vehicle, shaped that way because internal combustion engine vehicle converted into an EV. The car can discharge 100% of the available power through the rear axle for lots of drifty, slidey stuff. So to compare this vehicle to a Tesla Model 3, the Model 3 has 377 kilowatt, which is 505 horsepower. But I'm going to guess it weighs around about 300 kilos less than this vehicle, meaning power to weight will be still in the favor of the Maserati, but not by a lot. So my key question for you is, would you personally be willing to pay, say, 2 or 3 times the price for this Maserati? Probably 3 times. If you won the lotto, right? If you won $100 million, would you go and buy this Maserati EV for 200,000 US dollars. Question to you, let me know in the comment section below. Maserati says, or Folgore, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, can sprint to 62 miles per hour, which is 100 kilometers per hour in 2.7 seconds. The Model 3 does it in 3.2 seconds on its way to a top speed of 198 miles per hour, which is 320 kilometers per hour. The Trofeo, which has the same top speed, can hit 62 in 3.5 seconds, while the Modena needs 3.9 seconds to get to 302. Now, as you can see, the EV version of this car is by far the fastest. It's also going to be by far the heaviest, but still, it's much, much faster than the fastest gasoline-powered version. 2.7 seconds versus 3.5. Clearly, you can see my point here, right? What happens when you get the fastest gasoline-powered version? People will hear it and they'll say, you have the slow version. Because you will. It doesn't matter which version you get that has noise, that makes a noise. It's going to be slower than the silent EV version by a long way, by a significant amount. All three versions feature staggered 20 and 21-inch wheels, while the Folgore's designed for aerodynamics. They cut the EV's CD by 7% compared to the Nettuno-powered versions. The Folgore also features an air inlet between the bumper and wheel arch to reduce wind noise, exclusive to the trim. 4 designs with various finishes give the GT 7 different wheel options. Now, one of the key reasons why they're trying to reduce wind noise is because one of the great things about EVs, right? You get no engine noise. You don't realize the noise your car makes. You don't even really pick up on it until you drive an EV, and then you realize that actually, yeah, they are so much quieter. Thus, the reason many manufacturers are trying to reduce the noise of the wind, because that's pretty much all you hear. That or your conversation or your sound system. So Maserati have made the Gran Turismo's architecture modular, capable of accommodating both EVs and gas powertrains with minimal changes. That therefore means compromises. Over 65% of the car though is made of aluminium, which is a good thing, and it helps to reduce some of the weight. The Nettuno powered vehicle weighs 3,957 pounds, which is 1.8 tons. The EV, yep, it weighs an enormous 5,000 pounds. That's 2,260 kilograms. For context, the Model 3 weighs 1,700. It weighs half a ton more than the Model 3. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, but surely it's a bigger car than a Model 3, right? Well, the Model 3 is 4.7 meters long, 1.85 meters wide, and 1.44 meters high. The Gran Turismo is 4.88 meters long, so yeah, it's a little bit longer, 2 meters wide and 1.35 meters high. Now clearly, Model 3 has a much bigger interior space, and overall dimensions are not really all that different when you take into account the Gran Turismo is a much lower car. Personally, 550 kilos, yeah, it's got a bigger battery pack, but should it weigh an extra 550 kilos when it's got 70% of the car body made out of aluminium? No, it shouldn't. This is the kind of compromise you get when you try to use the same car to make a gas-powered vehicle and an EV. The same thing that BMW did in China with their 3 Series EV, which isn't selling because it weighs 2,300 kilos. Pretty similar to this vehicle. When's it going on sale? The new Gran Turismo will launch in the second quarter of 2023 with the Modena and Trofeo versions arriving first. The electric version will go on sale, we don't know, sometime after that, whenever that is. Maserati haven't given us a specific timeline. If you're going to buy one of these, get the EV version. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of money in resale. Now, personally, there's one thing this car has that the Tesla Model 3 doesn't have. Sensational good looks. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.